Hey everybody, it's Joey, and I'm here to do a storytime video. Now, I was supposed to film, excuse me, I was supposed to film, let me drink some tea. Oh no, it's still hot, it's too hot. Put some cream on. Hold on. I'm all over the place right now. Okay. So, I was supposed to film what I'm going to use up for the year with candles and hand soaps and pocket bags, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. I decided to film a story time today. Let me see. Okay, so first things first, I had my date tonight. Girl, I wish I never would have went on that date. It was literally the worst date of my life. Maybe not the worst date of my life, because, you know, I had people tell me they were murderers and almost killed me, so I guess it wasn't the worst date of my life, you know, compared to those, but, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best. He just was, I don't know, he just wasn't my type. Like, he just was, he was so blah. Like, he was literally like it was like watching paint dry. And not pretty paint, it was like white, boring paint. Like, white, boring. It wasn't even, like, blue. The paint wasn't even blue or any, like, pretty color. It was, like, literally white paint. It was, like, literally watching white paint dry. Oh, hold on. Here are my tissue box. Because, girl, it's one of those nights. And if I'm blowing my nose, I'm blowing my nose. I'm sorry. You know, I'll be doing it every video. And maybe you see, I'm about to tell you, if I do blow my nose, I'm going to tell you to blow, I'm about to blow my nose and then fast forward like 5-10 seconds so you don't see it or hear it. That's what's going to happen. So, yes. And then he was telling me, I don't know, he was just being weird. He just was like, oh, you know, I'm only here because I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to do something. I was bored. I wanted to have something to do. I'm like, oh, okay, great. So you didn't come out here to want to meet me. You came out here because you were just bored. And then this wasn't a big deal. I didn't care about this, but it's like, this is the thing. Every date I've ever been on with a guy, besides my first date I've ever been on, but every other date after my first date I ever been on with a guy, he always paid. He always paid for me. Which I never asked for, but they always do. And he just didn't. Like, he just didn't do anything good on the date. It's not like he did anything that was redeemable. Like, he just wasn't good. He was about to blow my nose. So fast forward 5-10 seconds, okay, guys? So right now, fast forward. Okay. I'm back. Okay. I'm sorry. This is so nasty. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. I don't even know. Like, I'm not sick. Like, maybe because it's cold in this house. I don't know. Anyways. So, let me get into what this story time is about. Because you read the title, you think. By the way, I'm putting a timestamp down below. Just in case if you're like, why the hell am I rambling about absolute bullshit here? And you wanted to actually watch the purpose of the video, which I think the title I'm going to name this is Growing Up in Staten Island. I think that's the name I'm going to title this. Because I never really spoke about I spoke about my childhood, but I never really spoke about growing up in Staten Island, like how it was, like growing up on the island. But anyways, I'm going to put a timestamp down below just in case so you know when the story time's going to start. Let me drink some tea. I love tea. Okay. So, tonight was a premiere of a reality show on MTV called Made in Staten Island. And it was about these group of teens and kids. I don't know what it's really mainly about. I just think it's about these kids that grow up on the island, and it's about just their personal lives. That's basically what it's about. It reminiscence. I don't know how to say the name. I had to say the damn word. It reminiscence. How can I not say that? God, I want to know find a word to. You can compare it to Mob Wives. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. You can compare it to Mob Wives, but it's not really Mob Wives. Like, Mob Wives is more about, like, the mob and, like, strong Italian mothers and women. This is more about the kids. And it's about them, not really more so about the mob, it's just about them, like, being in that typical, I don't know, just always getting into trouble type of kids, like, fighting all the time. Anyways. So, I watched the show and I really liked it. And I was like, that was making me think about because I grew up on Staten Island. I know about Staten Island. I know. I'm an Italian, born and raised in Staten Island. I grew up across the street from the projects of Staten Island, so I saw a lot of shit. I saw a lot of fighting, a lot of craziness. I was not the tip. Listen, the thing. Growing up in my house, we were never, like, a part of the mob or anything crazy like that. There were cops on, like, every block, especially on our block because we were across the street from the projects and there was always fighting. Mainly from our house, because we were crazy. Like, we were crazier than the people in the projects. The cops were called more on my block than the block across the street where the projects were. I kid you not. But that's neither here nor there. But anyways, none of us were part of the mob. I knew no one from the mob. I know Staten Island's all about the mob. I didn't know anybody from the mob. None of my family members know anyone from the mob. My grandpa might know someone, you know, from the mob, you know, when he used to hang out in this Italian restaurant. I don't know. You know what I mean? But no one that in my family was any, like, about the mob. Like, I never even heard about the mob growing up. I really didn't. I saw a lot of shit, but I never saw anything, like, related to the mob. However, growing up in my household, and in my block in general, you had to be strong. Like, you had to be. You couldn't be a weak kid. Like, you couldn't be weak. You couldn't be weak at all. You had to be a strong individual to see that shit and live through that shit. You had to be strong. So, even though I wasn't part of the mob, or no one I knew part of the mob, anything crazy like that, you still had to be strong where I lived. Because anywhere on Staten Island, I feel like, except for maybe if you're living, like, on, like, Snake Hill or Toad Hill, where there's, like, these gorgeous big houses and a really nice neighborhood, you're gonna see some shit, because it's Staten Island. And it didn't help that I did have mental issues. Like, I was, you know, I was special ed, special needs, whatever have you. Like, I acted out as a kid. I was a crazy child. I really was a crazy child. But, my dad is a lieutenant police officer, what have you. So I feel like even if my mom tried to make friends with people like that, you know, they wouldn't want to be friends with her because my dad was literally the lieutenant, the police officer. Like, he was, like, the total opposite of a mob. Like, a mob member, you know what I mean? Like, he was, you know, he was a police officer. So, even though we grew up, and I never understood that, because my dad was a police officer, I never understood why we grew up in such a unsafe neighborhood. Like, wouldn't you think you would, if you were a police officer, you want to, like, live somewhere that wasn't like that? I don't know. But, you know, but the moral of the story is that in Staten Island, you have to be strong. You have to be noble. You have to be loyal. You have to have respect. Because everyone mainly on the island is Italian families. You know what I mean? You know about the Italian household. Like, you have Sunday dinner every Sunday. Like, the one guy was so funny. It was like, I think the first scene, the guy was like, there's no regret? There's no regret? Where's the regret? I was like, oh my goodness. But, yeah, it's Sunday dinner every Sunday, you know, you always tried to go to church, you know what I mean? Like, even though I didn't like church. I don't know, you just were like, Italian families are very energetic. And they're very, like, they have a lot of personalities. We're not quiet. And Staten Island is mostly white Italians. That's how we're mostly, is what it is. And then, like, everyone who knew me, like, or just knows me now knows I'm from Staten Island. Like, oh, your accent. Even on here, I see you guys commenting, oh, his accent is, he must be from Long Island or Staten Island or New Jersey. Yeah, I was born and raised in Staten Island. I moved when I was 13 years old to Queens. And in Staten Island, even though we were a crazy neighborhood, like, I knew everybody. We all were family on that block. Like, we all were close. When I moved to Queens, like every house, I moved like 3 times in Queens, and each house I knew none of the neighbors. Swear to God, I don't know my neighbors here either. I think I've said that before. Um, it was weird for me because like I grew up in a neighborhood where I knew everybody, people down the block, people across the street. I knew everybody, and I don't even know the neighbors from side to side of me here. You get what I'm saying? So like Staten Island is a very different atmosphere. We all know everybody. You get what I'm saying? But you know, I really like Staten Island. I really do. I'm not a Queens type of person. I'm just not. I mean, Queens is not for me. I'm more Staten Island. I do miss living there. I still go all the time because, you know, my family lives there, my sister lives there, my grandma lives there, my aunt, my cousins. So I'm always there, but I just don't live there anymore. You know, I live in Queens. um, at the end of the day, let me take on a sip of tea. At the end of the day, the moral of the story is, growing up in Staten Island, I was really young. Really, really young. And I saw a lot of stuff. I saw fighting all the time. I saw, not even in my own household, because I saw more crazy shit in my own household, to be honest with you. I didn't even need to leave the front door to see some crazy shit, to be real with you. But when I did, you know, like, oh my God, I almost got jumped a few times. Like, I had to run fast. Like, you had to learn how to run fast. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I almost got jumped one time. Actually, it was a few times I almost got jumped. And then I was always, like, spontaneous. I always would take my bicycle, even as I was, like, 10 years old, I would take my bicycle and just ride around Staten Island, like, by myself. Like, I was ballsy. Like, I would ride around not even the block, but I would ride around all of Staten Island just by myself, 10 years old on a bicycle, and get lost. I was crazy. I mean, I really was crazy. Because that's how normal people do. Like, that's just how normal kids do, especially on the island. You don't roam around by yourself, you know, on a bicycle. So, yeah, oh my God, there was, Jesus Christ. The thing is that I had a neighbor, and I can't say specific names, I'll never say specific names. I had a neighbor, and I love this, I love my neighbors. I loved all my neighbors. But this specific neighbor was my mother's best friend. They did everything together. And, you know, it was as if, like, which household was the cops going to call on next? Was it going to be our house or their house? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it was like, we were like in a war. Like, whose family member is going to go berserk tonight, you know? So, it happened a lot with them, though. Like, it was like, recent. It was like a little too recent. It was not recent. A little too often, that's what I'm saying. Where, like, there was just always something going on with them. They were fighting. There was, like, oh my God. They had to come over because they were fighting in the house, and there was screaming, and then it was just a lot of shit. I'm not saying that doesn't happen everywhere else, because there's fighting and crazy shit happening all around the world. But Staten Island, when I go into Staten Island, like literally go off the bridge into Staten Island, like the Verrazano Bridge, I just see cop cars on every block. And in Queens, that's not how it is. You don't see cop cars on every block in Queens. But in Staten Island, there's a cop car. And, like, the island, not that it's dirty, because the island, like, people are like, oh, that's like the dump of New York. Staten Island is, to be honest with you, since I did live near the projects, it wasn't, like, all glamorous, but, like, it wasn't, like, a dirty block. Like, we were really clean. Like, of course, we all were clean, you know? But, after Hurricane Sandy, like, all that shit happened, all the debris and all the shit happened, like, all the blocks are like a mess, you know what I mean? Like a lot of shit still is not recovered, and it just doesn't look nice. It's all a mess, you know what I mean? But, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, oh my God, like, I'm trying to remember, like, my sister, like, okay, so my sister, is very unique, and she had, like, these unique friends, and, you know, she had friends that were just as crazy as we were. I mean, it's the truth. And I don't know, like, my mom always let people not move in, but, like, sleep over, and they would stay a little too longer than they should have. And then that caused drama, because I remember one night, I went to sleep, and my mom let one of my sister's friends stay over for a while. He was over for a while before he had this incident, like maybe a month or two. And excuse me. And I went to bed. I didn't hear any of this, which is shocking because you know it would the way it sounded crazy, so I should have been able to hear it, but I didn't hear anything. But he went nuts. He was taking medicine and he broke he threw the medicine in the garbage and he started punching the walls, made holes in the wall. Took out a scissor, stabbed the scissor, going nuts, like screaming, punching himself in the face. Like no one could control him. Like it was a whole scene. He wrecked the whole house. And the cops were called. And you know, he was already long gone now. And I saw him after my mother died. But before my mother died, I did not see him after that night. But yeah, he went berserk. And then I remember waking up to a house that was like a mess. It was a fucking mess. Someone might have thought someone died in there. Like, it was just crazy. You know, and then my parents fought all the time. Like, as I said, and I said this in the beginning, you have to be strong to be living in, like, Staten Island, but you had to be strong living in my house. Because there was always something. Always something. The moral story is, there's really no moral to this story. I just wanted to get on the camera and talk. And then I did like that show. Like, I was just like, okay. But, moral of the story is, that if I had the chance to move back to Staten Island, I would. I would leave Queens and move back to Staten Island just because Queens is just not for me. And even though I had crazy experiences in Staten Island when I was living there, I also had really good times. The best times. So it's like, the good outweighs the bad because, you know, not that I don't mind drama, but like, I mean, that shit was crazy. I mean, it was a little too crazy, I guess. But, especially for a kid to see because I was young. But, yeah, I mean, it was a lot. It was a lot. There's a lot to do. Anyways, I'm done rambling. I don't know how long this video is. Girl. But girl, I had to sit and have a cup of tea and just talk about things. Talk about life, talk about growing up, talking about my date, because that date was horrible and he could not, I mean, I know he was weird and fucking crazy, but there's no way he left that day saying, oh yeah, this was an amazing date. He had to have some common sense of like, no, like, this shit was not working. This shit wasn't good. Like, he wasn't feeling me and I wasn't feeling it, so there's no way in God's green earth that he walked away from that date being like, this was a success. Anyway, girl. I'm probably gonna watch a movie, probably, I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm gonna maybe write, I like to write, I'll probably write a story or something. Lipstick of the day, I just put on Be Enchanted. And then I put on Christmas Cookie by Jeffree Star. I just put the lipstick on and even put the color gloss on. Alright, but sometimes I just like to sit and talk, you know what I mean? Even though there was really no purpose to this video, I'd probably just name it like Story Time Growing Up in Staten Island or Made in Staten Island, like the fucking title of the TV show. They did say they were gonna have a reboot of Mob Wives. I don't know if this was supposed to be the Mob Wives reboot. I know one of the girls is the daughter of Karen, but we have not seen her. It doesn't look like we're gonna see her on the show. But yeah, I mean, so far it's good. It's a good show. I'm not gonna do reviews though. I mean, the only episode reviews I'm doing is New Jersey. If there's an other show that comes on that makes me want to do episode reviews, I don't think this show is gonna be one of them. I like it, but I don't like it enough to go, let me do episode reviews. If Mob Wives was still on, I would do Mob Wives episode reviews. But I don't know. I don't know if this show is going to be a one-hit wonder where there's only going to be one season and that's it, or there's going to be another season. I don't know how good it's going to do. I don't know. I can't really say. I mean, Mob Wives was a really good show. I mean, it was like, it blew up, that show. Like, it really was great. So I don't know if this is going to be the same outcome. I just don't know. But I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know there's no purpose to this. Okay. Love you. Bye.